It's a 30-year celebration that only the biggest stars and athletes can help kick off.
Right, check going down, check going down.
From 7-foot-tall NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal coming face-to-face with his biggest fear.
Trying to kill me!
Was it that bad?
Shark trying to kill me, man.
To Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn. Even UFC Hall of Famer Ronda Rousey ditching the cage to face the Mako.
Do you think you're ready to get into the arena?
I was born ready.
It's Shark Week, and this year it's bigger than ever. And all that action is playing out at a time where sharks are circling our national consciousness. Once again, as attacks continue to make the headlines coast to coast.
Sharks, the latest scare you're looking at is shark attacks on 2 separate beaches.
Just last week, a 13-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl were bitten on 2 separate beaches in the New York City area.
It was like 1 second, it went like that, and then it just let go immediately.
And then this sighting, off the coast of Orange County.
Right there, next to the boat.
Where?
On your boat. Right.
Oh my God!
Last year, there were 88 unprovoked shark attacks worldwide. 53 of those were in the U.S. alone. And while those numbers have remained consistent the last few years, the images, when things go wrong, are never easy to see. These encounters are no joke. And yet there are some people like Nick LaBeouf and Mike Dornelis that thrive under the water and do stuff like this on the regular. They say, don't blame the sharks.
You know, most of it is human error. It's, you know, our lack of understanding of getting in the water in an environment that we're not comfortable with.
Okay. That's their home. And I find myself here in the open ocean off the coast of LA on the doorstep of their home. And these guys are dishing out tips on how to avoid deadly encounters.
I get the sense that that you guys get a little bit of an adrenaline rush being out there in the water.
I've never felt more calm and more relaxed than surrounded by a bunch of sharks, believe it or not. It's one of the most beautiful experiences that you can have.
Tiger, 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 tiger!
The duo was part of Discovery's Shark Week.
You can avoid almost every bad incident that happens with sharks.
Both are featured in the show The Laws of Jaws, unlocking what they call the keys to survival by reenacting harrowing real-life incidents. One of them, this 2017 shark attack that left a 49-year-old scuba diver dead in Costa Rica.
She was attacked by a tiger shark while on vacation.
They say the mistake she made, she turned her back on the shark. LaBeouf tested the theory himself. Watch the shark's focus when he turns his back.
As soon as I turned around, you can see it just veer off right at the very end.
This shows and proves that, you know, you should always maintain eye contact. It shows dominant posture, and it shows we're another predator in the water, and we don't look like prey.
It's got to be a difficult and maybe even a learned skill to be able to actually face a shark in the eye when you're in these close contact with them, right?
Yeah, most people would want to swim away, and that's really not what you want to do with most sharks because it's going to show the predator versus prey.
But sometimes it's the shark you don't see that takes the first bite.
It was a little farther out than I should have been on my bodyboard. When he tore in, can't even explain or describe to you the excruciating pain.
Shark attacks on bodyboarders have tripled in the last few years. The team has another test. Can simply smacking the water help prevent an attack?
Sharks are more acoustic. They can hear better than they can smell. They'll come to any sort of sound that's of interest.
Sharks can confuse the sound that people make while splashing on a boogie board to that of possible prey.
I think we learned that it can help, or it can get them interested in the sound instead of maybe yourself. Or if there's another person making a sound and the shark's on you, the shark might go over towards that sound to investigate the sound.
They say depending on the moves you make in the water, you can either distract or attract the shark.
What's the difference between this kind of this noise that like a dead animal would make and this more intense splashing or slapping we're talking about?
Animal that's suffering, you know, if it's a fish and it's twitching a certain way, I think sharks might be attracted to that. They can pick up on that energy or pulse or whatever sound it is that they do make, and they'll come investigate.
The guys convinced me to dive in and learn the techniques that could prevent a fatal attack.
What I'm going to be doing is demonstrating just a paddle boarder, boogie boarder, just a repetitive sound, paddling.
Those little rhythmic splashes are the sounds that attract sharks. Instead, they say to scare the sharks away, a loud slap in the water is what you got to do.
So how much force should you be using when you slap down?
You're going to give it all you got. So you want to catch that pocket of it right here in your hand, and you're coming down and giving it everything you have. Trying to create a shockwave.
But hey, it's often easier said than done. Shark experts Paul DeGelder and James Glancy know what I'm talking about.
I know what it's like to be eaten. It sucks.
DeGelder is a former Australian Navy diver who lost an arm and a leg to a bull shark in 2009. In the show Shark Wrecked, airing tomorrow on Discovery, the divers put themselves in extreme conditions. At one point, they're in a recreated shipwreck, then simulating what it would take to survive in shark-infested waters. Out in the middle of the sea, the two are trying to stay afloat. And at one point, they got company. and have to fend off a team of tiger sharks.
As nighttime came, it started to get a lot more stressful. Just in the twilight, even when the sharks knew it was low light levels, there was no way we could see the sharks coming at us until it was the very last second. We had a netted pen to get into if it just became too dangerous, so we got into that.
They start quite far away from you at first, and they get closer and closer and closer, up until the point where we're literally like pushing them away, having to physically push them away with our fins, our hands, anything, just to keep them behind us.
Despite the close encounters, both men say it's actually the sharks who have more to fear.
They are calmer when you're calm with them, so it's a real lesson in how to handle and have respect for these animals.
LaBeouf agrees. He says a sense of respect can go a long ways.
I think it's really important to start changing the way the next generation views sharks. Unfortunately, they kill over 100 million a year right now, and our population is going down drastically.
Over 100 million sharks are killed every year?
Yeah, that's a real statistic. Hopefully we can get that perception changed and people understand that, you know, sharks are our friends. We need them in the ocean to keep the balance, and without them, our oceans won't survive.